Hey folks, I just wanted to do a quick tutorial about graphing in Excel. So I have some sample data from circles, very similar to what you did. And as you'll see, this is not difficult. Once you get the hang of this, you're going to be so happy that we aren't hand drawing graphs anymore. So let me just finish entering this data, and as I go through this, I'll explain a couple things. As you can see, I have diameter on the left and I have circumference on the right. Now, this is important for one reason, and that is that Excel looks at these numbers as ordered pairs. So when you have the top number, so you have 11.5 and 37.5, it looks at the 11.5 is the x value, and the 37.5 is the y value. X, comma, y. That's an ordered pair, right? So it's very important to line them up like this, because otherwise, if you switch it and you graph, then the diameter will be on the y and the circumference will be on the x. But if we have it like this, the column on the left will be on the x-axis and the column on the right will be on the y, which for this one, of course, is what we want. All right, so before we graph, let me show you a couple formatting things that I like to do. So one, I like it to look neat. We center everything, and then I like to make it actually a data table, put a border around it. Also, I like to make the headings bold. One final note: units only go in the column headings. They do not go with the numbers themselves, because if you try and graph numbers with units, Excel gets angry and it won't do what you want to do. Okay? All right, so here we go. And again, I'm breezing through this, but there are plenty of other resources online that you can find that can help. But this should be sufficient for what we need. So what you do, highlight all the data. Just the numbers is fine. And you go up to Insert. Come all the way over to Charts. That bottom right is Insert a Scatter Plot. We want to go to this top left one. All right. Now you see the chart pop up. You don't want any lines. Not yet. We're not there yet. You don't want any of these things. Just the dots. Okay. So here we go. So we got a nice looking graph now. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger so you can see it a little better. First thing, let's look at our title, right? We want to go with the very long and detailed title. So we say y value versus x value, which is circumference versus diameter of various circles measured with a meter stick. All right, very detailed, but it's not too bad. It gives you the two variables, it gives you what was measured, and it gives you how they were measured. Okay. Next, we want axis labels. We just have numbers right now. So you go to this plus sign, axis titles. Hover over that, click on the box. There you go. So we know that the y value is the circumference. And that is, for me, it's in centimeters. Put whatever units you want. And then the x value is diameter. And that is also in centimeters. Okay. So now we have good axis labels. We have good title. And this graph looks beautiful, right? We just did this in like 2 minutes, 2 or 3 minutes. Whereas I'm pretty sure it took most of you a good bit longer to do your hand-drawn graph. All right. Now, what do we need next? Well, we need a trend line. And with that trend line, we also want the slope of that trend line. Okay. So what we're going to do first, we're going to come up to Chart Elements, go down to the bottom, click Trend Line. Boom. There it is. Line of best fit shoots through the center of the data, and it also goes through the origin, which we talked about earlier. Not only that, we now want the equation of this line, because when we get the equation of the line, we'll have the slope. right? Y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope of the line. So we can do that in Excel. So we click on that little arrow next to trend line, we go down to more options, and this little thing pops up on the right. Scroll all the way to the bottom. It's not letting me scroll. Oh, we don't have to. It's actually right here at the bottom. Second box from the bottom, it says display equation on chart. Look at that. That's a beautiful thing right there. All right, so I'm going to move this and make it bigger. Let's see. Nope. How do we do that? Oh, geez. Well, anyway, I want it bigger. I'm going to increase the font size. There, that's not enough. Okay. Alright, so here we go. Nice and big on the chart. There's the equation of this line of best fit. So what is our slope? 2.97. Awesome. Alright. Now, to further this, to show you how great Excel can be, we're going to solve for the percent error based on what I've just done. Alright. So let's take a look. You can do equations in Excel. We talked about what the equation for the percent error was. So we're going to start. Every equation starts with an equal sign. We're going to go parentheses because we're going to be doing some dividing. So we want to say experimental value 2.97. I'm going to leave it at that. Minus the actual value, which is pi. So I'm going to say 3.14. Close parentheses, and then we're dividing that by, what are we dividing by? The actual value, 3.14. And we're going to close off this whole thing. Watch what I'm doing here. I'm closing these in parentheses, okay? And multiply the whole thing by 100. Okay, so times 100, and look what I get. Okay, so I get a negative 5.4. Good. So this is the percent error calculation. All right. Again, I'm gonna bold this so we see that it's important. I'm gonna put a box around it so it's nice. This is negative. That's fine. All that means is that the value that you got in your experiment is less than the actual value. If you got a positive percent error, that just means your value was more than. Alright, I'm going to bring this down. So see all these decimal places? We don't care about all these. So we're going to bring these down and come up here and reduce the number of decimal places to 2. Keep going down to 2. 5.41. And again, I want it centered. Boom. And I want it to be a percent. I want it to show percent. Alright, so let's see. You can go to Format and go to Number. Now, let me see. This might not actually work. I think it's going to do. Yeah, because we already multiplied by 100, it's doing it again. So when you format to percent, you can take the 100 out, and it will do the percent calculation for you. So here we go, percent error calculation, negative 5.41, and that's not bad. All right, that's kind of a quick run through with Excel. You have your nice data table right here. You have your nice graph right here. I mentioned that I like full page graphs. If you were ever going to print anything out for me, click on the graph and then go up to File and Print, and that will print out just that graph on a full sheet of paper. That is a nice thing. Okay, so that is our quick run through. If you have any other questions, feel free to let me know. All right, and hopefully this is helpful. Take care.